Guys, glad to see you here again today, and I know you've been looking forward to reading our next chapter in La Vida Real, the book that we've been reading here over these past few weeks. So just to remind you just a few minutes about what skills we're going to work on as we go through. Les and Bill, remember we're going to work on our word accuracy with this, and really especially see if we come across those words that are 2 or 3 syllables. We're really going to work about decoding them and using those skills of prefixes that we've learned for those. So that will be your mission. Brenda and Betsy, remember you're really working with this with your rate and prosody, really focusing on slowing down there at the commas, taking the pause, and really stopping for a brief second at the periods at the end of those sentences. And Sean, remember what we've talked about also with the rate and prosody skills that we'll be working at, really using some more voice inflection as we work going on through. So that's always our mission as we go through. So I'm going to go ahead and start. We've got a new chapter going, so we don't need to review a whole lot about what was going on because this is a new part of the story. So I'll go ahead and start, and then as always, we'll pass off from one to another just at random as we go through, and everybody knows everybody's name. Okay, so this chapter is entitled Alvara. It was so dark in the desert. There was no moon at all that night. One really clear memory I have is of my mother telling me not to sit down on the big flat rocks. The rocks were still warm from the day, so that's where the rattlesnakes slept. Alvara doesn't make eye contact when she talks about the night she and her mother joined 24 others in the small border town of Naco in Sonora, Mexico, for what she simply refers to as the crossing. Okay, Betsy, please.
There's a Naco on both sides of the border, one in Arizona and one in Mexico. Alvara explains that's how it got its name, Na from the end of Arizona and Co from the end of Mexico. And on that night in 1996, when Alvara was 10 years old, she held her mother's hand tightly as the quiet group huddled together outside of an old hotel. Bill?
The rundown and mostly boarded up hotel was a common meeting spot for those who were planning to cross the Mexican-United States border illegally. We had to wait for a coyote to lead us to a safe place to cross, Alvara continues. There are a few miles of a tall wall that separates the two Nacos, and there are lots of border patrols right in the area, but a little further out. Sean.
Here Alvara's voice trails off as she thinks back to the night. A cow is a paid guide who knows the paths and trails that are safest to follow. He knows where the wall turns into a simple bar fence, and he knows where the holes in the fence are. Coyotes are paid a lot of money for their services, sometimes more than 100 per person. Most of those being guided by the coyote are quiet, poor, and must borrow from or be given the money by a friend or really already in the U.S. Beth?
Oh, Brand.
Oh.
Sorry.
My father has always been in the United States for almost 2 years, working very hard to save money so that we can be all together. He worked 2 and sometimes 3 different jobs. During the day he did landscaping, and then he was on the line at a meat packing factory at night. Alvara paused. A flash of anger darkened her face. You know, I often hear people say that what my father did and then what my mother and I did, that we were wrong. We're criminals, some people say, but anyone who says that just doesn't know. Alvara takes a deep breath, trying to calm her emotions. We didn't have a choice. That's just a fact. It was either stay or starve or take our chances coming north. You can see we didn't have a choice. Les?
Alvara was born in a rural village in the state of Oaxaca in southern coastal Mexico. Home was a roughly constructed adobe building with a thin roof that leaked when it rained. The floors were dirt, and there was no electricity and no plumbing. The kitchen, for many people in the community, was a stone oven and fire in the middle of the village. Every day, women of the village would meet to put together enough food for everyone to have at least one meal a day. That meal usually consisted of tortillas and a bowl of beans. Alvara's family was fortunate enough to have their own stove oven and fireplace in their home. Steve?
Alvaro was also luckier than many of the children in the village. Most of the children began working before they were even 10 years old. But Alvaro's parents made sure that their daughter attended school. Bill?
No education means you stay poor.